Before I could make my trip to Utah, I first had to get through a day of work. To say I was eager to get on the road and out of town was an understatement. One nice thing about this trip is that I'd be car camping. That means I could take as much junk as I could load in the car. My plan was to drive across the California desert to the town of Jean, Nevada, and from there head to Utah. After driving for several hours, I decided to pull over to the little town of Baker, California. The car needed gas, and I needed to see a RoadsideAmerica.com attraction. The town's most prominent feature is a 134-foot thermometer dubbed the world's tallest thermometer. The thermometer is visible for miles. Its height commemorates the hottest temperature ever recorded in the United States, 134 degrees Fahrenheit, recorded in nearby Death Valley in 1913. Not long after crossing the Nevada border, I came across my first destination, the Gold Strike Hotel and Casino. The hotel has 811 rooms to choose from. Since I was at a casino, I just had to try my luck at the slot machines. But it didn't take me long to find out why they're called the one-armed bandits and for me to lose part of my money. Fortunately, I was able to remember that old saying about gambling.
So remember, folks, the gambling bug will get you if you don't watch out.
So remember, folks, the gambling bug will get you if you don't watch out. And I will, too.
After a hard day of work, a hard day of driving, and a hard night gambling, I got a good night's sleep. After more mind-numbing desert driving, it wasn't long before I was passing the city of Las Vegas. Not long after that, I passed into the state of Arizona.
Feeling hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot. Oh, Lord.
40 miles later, I entered the state of Utah. From there, I drove to the town of Kanab, about 43 miles east of Zion National Park. Once there, I set up my camp at the Hitchin Post. After that, I headed a few miles over to the Coral Pink Sand Dune State Park, over 3,000 acres of coral-colored sand dunes, a photographer's delight and very popular with the off-road vehicles. Then it was back to Kanab to watch the sunset on this rock formation overlooking the town. It got cold that night, but I was tired enough to get a good night's sleep. The next day I woke up to a crisp, clear, beautiful morning. After driving 30-some odd miles east of Kanab on Highway 89, I found myself driving down a rutted gravel road headed to the Wire Pass trailhead. I was greeted by this sign at the beginning of the trail. This is the scenery at the beginning of the Wire Pass trailhead. Wire Pass is a short 1.7-mile hike to the popular Buckskin Gulch trail. There was no actual trail on Wire Pass. You simply walked on the wide, rock-strewn dry bed of the Coyote Wash. The walking was fairly easy, and there were a few obstacles to slow you down. As I walked farther down the trail, the walls of the Wire Pass slowly got taller and taller. Before getting to Buckskin Gulch, I would go through 3 slot canyons in Wire Pass. Entrance to a slot canyon. A slot canyon is a narrow canyon formed by the wear of water rushing through rock. A slot canyon is significantly deeper than it is wide. It can measure less than 3 feet across at the top, but drop more than 100 feet to the floor of the canyon. I'm in one of the slot canyons in Wire Pass. I'll pan up, looking up out of the slot canyon. It's like looking out of the mouth of a giant carnivore. I'm about to enter yet another slot canyon. Oh, did I mention that there were 3 slot canyons to navigate in Wire Pass, and that each one was slightly narrower than the one before it? I finally made it through the last slot canyon in Wire Pass, and this is my first view of Buckskin Gulch. Looking down Buckskin Gulch. Down there's where I just came from. While not as narrow as Wire Pass, at over 13 miles long, Buckskin Gulch is the longest and deepest slot canyon in the southwestern United States, and may very well be the longest in the world. Slot canyons are particularly dangerous due to the risk of flash floods. Storms more than 50 miles away can send 100-foot high walls of water down the narrow canyons, and hikers have been killed in such events. I see an elephant in this formation. This rock formation marks as far as I got in Buckskin Gulch. Unlike Wire Pass, Buckskin Gulch is wide enough to let some sunlight in. On the way out from Buckskin Gulch, I came across a baby rattlesnake, about 2 feet long. It blended in with the rocks so well that I would have never seen it if it hadn't rattled its tail. The snake reminded me of the old Far Side cartoon, How Nature Says, Do Not Touch. There was the rattlesnake, the blowfish, the angry cat, and that guy that lived up the street who was quiet and kept to himself. About halfway back to Kanab, I stopped off at a little place by the road called the Toadstools. The Toadstools gets its name from the strange rock formations located there. What with all the strange rock formations there, I almost expected a bizarre Martian space creature to come out from behind the rocks. That night I got so cold again that I decided that this was the last night I'd be sleeping in my tent on this vacation. The next morning I was up early and ready to drive up 47-mile Cottonwood Canyon Road. The scenic dirt road crosses part of the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument. Around every corner there seemed to be another rock formation. The road can be driven by passenger cars, but when it becomes wet, it becomes extremely slick, and then even four-wheel drive becomes useless. One of the more interesting formations along Cottonwood Canyon Road is the unique double-arch Grosvenor Arch. This massive sandstone formation stands 152 feet high and spans 92 feet. They warn you about driving on the road in wet conditions, but what they don't warn you about is just down the road was one of those rare little finds, Kodachrome Basin State Park. I decided to stop off and do some looking around there. There's the car at Chimney Rock. Kodachrome Basin State Park contains eroded multicolored rock formations in different shades of red and white. The unique feature of the park is the presence of many spires known as sandpipes. Kodachrome Basin turned out to be one of those places where the results far exceed your expectations. I see a brontosaurus in that rock formation. While I was in Kodachrome Basin, I managed to squeeze in several of the smaller hikes.
There's a trail.
After that, I was back on the road and heading toward the town of Escalante.